Hello my friends, Kyle McCoy here, and today I'm going to show you some tips on how to create a realistic Perler Bead portrait. Now a piece that has this much detail relies on something called optical color mixing. That's when your eyes can take two dots of color that are next to each other and merge them together. You see, our vision only has so much resolution, so our brains create some shortcuts to give us the best possible view of what we're seeing. Occasionally you may hear this kind of art referred to as Pointillism. And the space between the dots can play a role in determining the color's value or shade. For us, that's the empty space between the beads, which we can control with our ironing techniques. But enough talk, it's time for action! Today I'm going to be making a dual portrait as a wedding gift for two crazy kids I know named Rachel and Dan. First thing to remember, portraits are not all about what the subject looks like, but how you want to portray them. Rachel and Dan are very smart and very silly and young at heart. So we're going to surprise them by giving them a portrait of their childhood selves. Aww. Look at those cutie pies. Adorable. There are several great pattern makers you can find online. Look for one that lets you adjust the size of your photo so you can make sure it fits your canvas. Let's dive in. Most times I start with the eyes because it's usually the first thing the viewer is drawn to. Then expand outward from there. Always keep a photo handy for reference. My setup involves using my camera and laptop as a nifty way to see my work up close and at a distance at the same time. Keep in mind, this is much trickier than purling the space shuttle or making minions. Don't get frustrated if it takes several tries to get the work to your liking. And of course, the larger your portrait, the more detail you can have. As Rachel here nears completion, I'm going to put down an outline to use as a guide. Then, fill it in and make any final touches. You're next, Dan. And I follow the same steps. Eyes, expand, outline, fill. Excellent. Time to iron these bad boys. Keep in mind, most ironing paper comes folded up, and these creases can leave marks on your final piece. My solution is to give the paper itself a little ironing before using it. It only takes a few seconds for the creases to practically disappear. Abracadabra. Now this is a good example of how ironing can be used as a shading tool. I'm focusing mostly on the center and making occasional passes outward. This means that the beads in the middle here will melt more, resulting in a more solid white, while those on the outside will have melted slightly less. This technique uses the negative space between the less melted beads to trick your eyes into seeing a subtle layer of shading. Time to use my trusty hot glue gun to mount everything on a canvas I painted earlier. Did I mention that Rachel and Dan are also into science fiction? So for our final touch, space travel has again made children of us all. Ray Bradbury quote. Perfect. And for the curious, our colors today were white, black, dark gray, cream, peach, sand, yellow, pastel yellow, cheddar, butterscotch, orange, pink, light pink, red, blush, cranberry, brown, light brown, tan, and just a few hot corals. So who are you thinking about making a portrait of? Let me know in the comments and your work could be featured right here. Until then, happy purling.